Welcome to BitterSweet, a YouTube web series by yours truly, YuuriVoice. Our story begins in a small town with your pastel punk boyfriend, Alphonse, who has a bit of a past, but you, his loving, trusting partner he refers to as his boo, are patient and willing to let him reveal himself at his own pace. Enter Seth, a motorcycle-riding, switchblade-wielding, mommy-issue having... sorry, got ahead of myself there. He's a bad boy with an attitude, but not because he's got beef with Alphonse. No, quite the contrary. He loves Alphonse. You see, this smarmy little shit is Alphonse's ex, and these two don't just have history, they've got blood on their hands. And so begins the roller coaster of BitterSweet, a tale of love, growth, and, whatever that is. Boo takes it upon themselves to learn more about the boys' past, in particular their relationship and history. As it turns out, the two grow close because they were black sheep in a small town. One, a pastel-loving loudmouth, the other, the son of two people with questionable parenting skills. Oh, and gay. They were gay. In particular, a campfire chat between Seth and Boo is an important one that begins to establish themes that will echo throughout the series. Things like magic, soulmates, crying. God, there's a lot of crying. Seth wants to believe in fantastic things, and believes that they're inherent in nature. Whether that's because he wants to bang the Mothman or for some sort of bigger reason remains to be seen. Boo, despite Alphonse's assurance that Seth is dangerous and that life will go back to normal when he's gone, believes that trying to mend this relationship is better than leaving the wound open. And Al wasn't necessarily thrilled with this development. Meanwhile, Seth is conflicted by what he thought should be jealous feelings, being overwhelmed with the joy of seeing someone he loves being happy, healthy, and, not a violent criminal anymore. Chapter 1 ends with Alphonse making it clear that while he's not ready to act like everything is fine, he doesn't want Seth to go back to the city and the life that they led years ago. If it gets bad, he wants Seth to come back. Which is what we in the business like to call foreshadowing. You know how people love to say that Die Hard is a Christmas movie? You wouldn't really be wrong if you said that BitterSweet was a Christmas story. Chapter 2 sees the prodigal son return home, minus a motorcycle, and plus several bumps and bruises. A probably concussed Seth apologizes for coming back, but not just because he feels like he's intruding. Derek may have had him followed.
Who is it?
Derek. Derek. Derek is the crime boss Alphonse and Seth worked under. He's mean, ruthless, and smells distinctly of brute cologne splashed on top of unwashed ass. Seth's mother, Jessie, known for her impeccable taste in men, dated Derek and is responsible for introducing Seth to him, and by extension, a life of crime. Jessie has been out of contact with Seth since she broke up with Derek, even during his incarceration. No phone calls, no letters, no nothing. Disclaimer. If you didn't realize that BitterSweet is an elaborate piece of vent art centered around my personal trauma, experiences, and growth, consider yourself informed. The holiday season is spent with Boo preparing to vend at the upcoming festival, selling baked goods. Oh, yeah, Boo has been getting some specific details written into their character, which is a key factor that separates BitterSweet from general self-insert media. This became necessary because this story is about love, how it can heal, and the different forms it may take. And not everyone is in a place where they can personally feel comfortable with someone's ex coming around and learning about their history and them clearly still caring about each other. For everyone else,
I want 2 boyfriends, and I want the boyfriends to be boyfriends, and I want to be their girlfriend, and I want the boyfriends to take me out on little boyfriend dates where we're all boyfriends and girlfriends.
things are a bit uneasy leading up to the festival, but Boo keeps assuring the boys that things are okay. And finally, at the festival, Seth confesses to Alphonse that he told Boo a particular piece of information that was a secret he kept from Al. The reason Seth was so adamant about staying in the city in the first place, sticking to their life of crime and going down the path that was rotting their relationship from the inside out. He was stealing money from Derek so that the two of them could run away and start a new life together. You see, Seth thought that it would be easier for Al to enjoy this new life of his without knowing that, despite all the toxicity between the two of them in the end, it was because Seth was hiding a hopeful truth from him. Not because he was enjoying their downward spiral or because he relished in everything falling apart. He wanted to run away with the boy that he loved. But the past is the past, and Alphonse has learned that boldly pursuing a happier future is a gift, and it's one that Seth is worthy of as well. No revelation can change how Alphonse feels, or make him regret any of his past choices. He's happy, and if Seth is beating himself up over this secret, he should let it go too. And maybe in time, he'll share in that joy that Alphonse now has. Ain't that sweet? Well, it just gets sweeter, because on Christmas Eve, the boys build a pillow fort in Boo's living room, all of them piling together for the night, cozying up together and having what is probably the best damn Christmas Eve ever. Together. Sadly, the good times come to an end on Christmas morning. Seth discovers his busted motorcycle left in front of Boo's house, with a gift box on top of it. Inside, he finds a lock of his mother's hair. Now might be a pretty good time to mention that I never anticipated BitterSweet becoming a whole thing. The story has evolved. The budget for artwork and editing has grown. And that's in great part to the support I receive from viewers like you on Patreon. Obviously, BitterSweet is just one part of many things I do. ASMR roleplay ranging from comfort and adventure to spicy and really, really spicy. That stuff brings in plenty of people. And some of them go on to discover BitterSweet and join us on this ride. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to patrons past, present, and future for allowing me to live a dream, for sharing this story that I've poured out my heart into with characters who mean so much to me, and y'all showing it so much love. It's truly been... I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say it's my life's greatest achievement. This is a dream fulfilled for me. And that's obviously really important to me. So, thank you. Chapter 3 begins with Seth highlighting details about his past with Alphonse that have only been vaguely referenced to this point. The story of how Seth came back for Alphonse to take him to the city and join him in his life of crime, who Derek was, and Jesse's relationship with him as well. Seth tries to make it clear that they weren't just petty criminals. They hurt people. And Alphonse is going to hurt some people looking so damn fine. Hot damn. Dark Mode Al is revealed as he wants Derek's gang to recognize who they brought out of retirement. Further revelations follow. Alphonse has a car that has been gathering dust, a family heirloom passed down to him from his father. Oh, by the way, Al's parents are, not alive. That has been vaguely referenced over time, even before BitterSweet was a thing. But there was an accident. They're gone. Happened while Al was still with Seth in the city, and it's probably safe to assume that some of Al's bitterness towards Seth back then was centered around that fact. Seth has conflicting feelings about going back to the city for his mother, who hasn't been great. And that strikes a nerve in Alphonse, who makes it clear that if his folks were alive, he would go on a rampage if it meant he could get even one more moment with them. And this serves as a moment of clarity for Seth, who then makes it clear how important both Alphonse and Boo, who Seth refers to as Sugar these days, are to him. This was framed as a love confession, but there are still people who aren't sure if Seth cares about the trio as a whole. I don't think they'll be satisfied until the three of them are fused human centipede style, eating each other's asses like a BitterSweet Ouroboros. But that was definitely supposed to be a bold, we are going home together so we can be in each other's lives because I am happy with you two. And I love you guys. You know? And then there is this rat. That's Charlie. Alphonse and Seth have a history with Charlie. The boys topple this clubhouse while leaving Listener in the car with a MacGuffin. A gun. Alphonse has a touching heart-to-heart with Charlie, while Seth gives new meaning to having a Joker moment. But strangling the guy who outed you and your boyfriend as, not straight, to the biker gang you work for is a step too far for Seth, and he gets Alphonse to let the rat go. But Boo sees him scurrying away to the passenger seat of a van and overhears him being told to leave Listener alone by a distinctly southern, mommy-shaped voice.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
A drive around the city leads them, eventually, to the old apartment the boys stayed in back in the day, but they spy smoke billowing out of what certainly appears to be the window of their very apartment. The trio dash inside and up the stairs to find...
Excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me? Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry. Mommy?
Jessie was baking cookies, if you can call that baking. She was anticipating their arrival, but she's not exactly much of a baker. Not only that, Charlie is working for her as a snitch on the inside of Derek's operation. But Seth isn't relieved. He's pissed. Jessie has been aware of everything going on and still allowed Alphonse and his boo to be put in danger by putting them in the crosshairs of Derek and his goons. Needless to say, this is a bit awkward, but not entirely unwarranted. Seth aggressively hands Jessie her Mother of the Year award and goes out to get some air. Boo's conversation with Jessie reveals a complicated woman, unwilling to try and justify her mistakes and realizing that it's high time she did right by Seth. But she's not sure how. Seth is comforted by Alphonse, unsure of how he can make sense of how he's been treated by Jessie, and wondering why he was never enough for her. This Christmas kinda sucks. And things only get better! There are things in this world that are difficult to explain. Sometimes it's better off not knowing, or forgetting, playing pretend. That thing you saw in the corner of your eye, the voices, the dreams. Isn't it easier if things are mundane? If you don't know the truth? If you just live your happy, sad, indifferent little lives? It would certainly be easy. Nothing good ever comes easy, though. The cost of turning the page, ending this chapter, is steep. Sacrifices have to be made. But you already knew that, didn't you? I hope you'll join us for the adventures yet to come. In the pinned comment below, you can find playlists, compilations, and more that you can use to catch up on the story thus far. And be sure to set your reminders for Monday, October 24th, 6 p.m. CST, for the finale of BitterSweet Chapter 3. Thank you for joining me on this wild ride, and especially for loving my boys and their story. I hope that if nothing else, when you watch BitterSweet, you feel hopeful about what loving the people who matter most to you can do for you and for them. I hope you find strength and courage in those characters and their stories, because the more and more they have revealed themselves to me, they've absolutely helped me too. Be good to each other, and hey, be good to yourself, huh?